Sometimes the most profound insights into our global economy, they aren't found in the big headlines about tech giants or geopolitical shifts. Instead, they often emerge from the most unexpected, sometimes quite intimate corners of the market. And today, we're doing just that. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a product category you probably haven't given a second thought to. But it's one that's telling a really fascinating story about global consumer trends, the global kids' underwear market.
Yeah, and for this deep dive, we're drawing our insights from a specific report, the Global Kids Underwear Market Forecast to 2033 by Cognitive Market Research. Our mission here is to go beyond just the raw numbers, to really extract the key insights driving this, well, surprisingly robust expansion, and to understand what it truly signals about evolving consumer patterns and priorities worldwide.
Okay, let's unpack the scale of this then. Because in 2021, this market was already a massive industry. We're talking valued at almost $8.7 billion. But here's where it gets really eye-opening. By 2033, it's projected to climb to an incredible $16.9 billion. That's growing at a compound annual growth rate, or CAGR, of around 5.7%, which means nearly doubling its value in just over a decade for, kids' underwear.
It's quite something. And what's truly fascinating here, as you said, is that this isn't just about a rising global population, more kids being born. This significant growth, it points to a much deeper trend. The diversification of children's apparel needs. It's signaling that parents around the world are becoming more discerning. They're investing not just in quantity, but also in quality, comfort, maybe specific designs, even for items that traditionally were purely functional. This shift, it really speaks volumes about evolving consumer demands globally.
It's quite remarkable, isn't it? I mean, when you think of booming markets, this probably isn't the first thing that springs to mind. But those numbers, they're just undeniable. We're looking at an industry that's set to practically double.
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it tells us something important. Kids' underwear isn't just a simple, generic purchase anymore. We're seeing shifts in quality expectations. Maybe parents are looking for organic cotton or anti-chafing fabrics, seamless designs for sensitive skin, that sort of thing. There's also a growing brand consciousness. Parents might be looking for specific features, or maybe ethical sourcing practices matter more now. And yeah, even fashion trends play a role. Could be character designs for younger kids, or maybe more minimalist styles for older ones. This diversification and the increased willingness to pay for these features, those are significant drivers of that robust growth.
Okay, so given this is really a global phenomenon, where is this growth happening most intensely? Which regions are really driving the momentum, right? This is where the regional dynamics get really interesting. The Asia-Pacific region is, well, absolutely leading the charge here. It's forecasted to be the fastest growing regional market. It boasts the highest CAGR that's over 6.3%. To put that into perspective, the Asia-Pacific market was already substantial, right? Around $3.4 billion in 2021. But it's projected to surge to over $7 billion by 2033. That's more than double in just over a decade.
And the implications of Asia-Pacific's leadership, they're profound.
Yeah.
This kind of accelerated growth, it's deeply linked to the region's strong economic development, its huge population size, obviously, and crucially, steadily rising disposable incomes. As millions move into the middle class, families just have more resources to allocate. And this translates directly into prioritizing better quality, enhanced comfort, wider array of products for their children, even for essentials like underwear. It's really about improved living standards impacting even the most basic consumer goods.
And within that really dynamic region, India is highlighted as one of the strongest individual markets. It's projected to have the highest TDGR in Asia Pacific, an impressive figure, over 7.3%. So starting at roughly $405 million in 2021, India's market is forecasted to rocket to nearly $945 million by 2033. That's truly phenomenal growth for a single country in this category.
It is. Though while India shows this incredible acceleration in its growth rate, China still holds the largest absolute market share in the region, which just reflects its sheer market volume, the established consumer base there. China's market was around 932 million in 2021, and it's projected to reach just under 2 billion by 2033. Its own CGR is also very strong, over 6.5%. It's really a testament to the immense scale of the Chinese consumer market. Even in these mature product categories, there's still significant expansion happening.
Right. But the growth isn't just concentrated in those two giants, is it? It sounds like it's a widespread trend across Asia Pacific. Countries like Japan, South Korea, Australia, they're all contributing significantly too. They have strong, consistent growth rates, generally in the mid to high 5% CGR range. And even markets like Singapore and Southeast Asia as a whole, they're showing particularly robust expansion, often with key GRs over 6.5%. This really reinforces that idea, doesn't it? Improved living standards, changing consumer priorities, impacting foundational products across the entire region.
Absolutely. And this broad-based growth in Asia-Pacific, it raises an interesting point. It's probably not simply about having more children. It suggests a qualitative shift. Like, are parents buying more units per child? Or are they increasingly opting for premium products, things like breathable fabrics for warmer climates, maybe items with better durability? It suggests a move beyond just basic function towards a more considered purchase.
That's a great question, and it definitely speaks to that broader economic development we're seeing. Okay, now, let's shift our focus a bit. What about North America and Europe, what we typically call the more established markets? They're making significant contributions to the global total, I assume. And while their growth rates might be slightly lower than Asia Pacific's, are they still, pretty robust?
Yeah, let's look. In North America, the kids' underwear market stood at nearly $2.2 billion in 2021, and it's forecasted to reach just under $4 billion by 2033. That's growing at a steady CAGR of just over 5%. The United States, well, as you might expect, plays the dominant role here. It makes up the lion's share. About $1.84 billion in 2021, projected to reach over $3.28 billion by 2033. Its CAGR is close to 5%. But Canada and Mexico also contribute healthy figures. Both are showing strong growth rates, pushing their markets towards similar near-doubling trajectories by 2033. Okay, and over in Europe, what's the picture there?
Europe collectively achieved over $2 billion in 2021. Projections are for over $3.8 billion by 2033. That's growing at a CGR of just over 5.3%. So similar overall to North America.
Right. But what's particularly striking within Europe is Germany's performance. Germany actually stands out with an impressive CAGR of over 6%, which shows sustained, even accelerated demand in what we think of as a mature market. Germany's market was around 418 million in 2021, projected to surge to over 832 million by 2033. This really highlights that even in regions with, established consumer bases, maybe lower birth rates, there's still ample room for growth. And often this comes from innovation in materials. Think eco-friendly fabrics, hypoallergenic options, or maybe advanced ergonomic designs focusing on comfort, active lifestyles. It's about premiumization, really, meeting very specific consumer demands in a sophisticated market.
And we see that robust growth reflected across the continent too, right? Key European countries like the UK, France, Italy, they're also maintaining significant expansion, generally in that mid 5% CAGR range. Spain and Sweden, for instance, also showing very healthy upward trajectories. It illustrates that even with established patterns, there's consistent demand being met, probably with evolving product offerings. It's maybe less about volume growth here and more about value growth through innovation and quality.
Exactly. And this consistent growth in established markets, it does raise an important question for brands operating there. What strategies are allowing them to maintain such momentum in what seems like a basic product category? It suggests a focus on things like brand loyalty, maybe targeted marketing to specific age groups, perhaps appealing to parental values around, say, sustainability or leveraging specific comfort technologies. It's likely a nuanced game of product differentiation in a pretty competitive landscape.
Okay, so moving beyond these, let's call them traditional powerhouses. We also see significant emerging potential elsewhere. South America, the Middle East, and Africa each telling their own story of development and growing consumer demand, I imagine. Let's look at South America first. The market for kids' underwear there was about $407 million in 2021. It's expected to reach over $832 million by 2033. That's an impressive CDR of just over 6.1%, so quite high growth. Brazil predictably contributes the largest share, growing from around 150 million in 2021 to over 302 million by 2033. But Argentina is showing particularly strong advancement. Its CBR exceeds 6.6%, doubling its market to over 156 million by 2033. And other South American contributors, Colombia, Peru, Chile, they're also on healthy upward tracks.
Yeah.
And Middle East, similar story.
Pretty similar, yeah. The kids' underwear market there reached around $346 million in 2021, projected to rise to just under $700 million by by 2033 with the EGR at almost 6%. The UAE is a real spotlight here, demonstrating robust growth with the ADGR over 6.5%.
That's driving its market from about 63 million to over 136 million. Saudi Arabia and Turkey are also major players, showing strong expansion that definitely aligns with broader economic development and rising consumer wealth in the region. And lastly, Africa. What are we seeing there? In Africa, we see substantial emerging growth as well. The region collectively recorded about $303 million in 2021, projected to rise to over 600 million by 2033 at a CAGR of over 5.3%. South Africa shows a particularly strong performance here, nearly doubling its market to over 254 million by 2033 with a CAGR of almost 6%. Nigeria also contributes significantly. It's on track to reach over 100 million by 2033, which reflects its large and growing population base.
If we connect this all back to the bigger picture, the consistent growth across these incredibly diverse regions, Asia Pacific, Europe, the Americas, Middle East, Africa, it underscores a truly global phenomenon. It's definitely not just a localized trend in one or two places. It's a widespread increase in demand, and it seems deeply linked to broader economic development, rising consumer spending power, and changing consumer values in all these areas. It really highlights a sort of universal investment in the well-being and comfort of children, regardless of where you are in the world, and a growing expectation for quality, even in the most basic items.
So, okay, pulling this all together, what does this all mean for you, our listener? What can we really take away from diving into the world of kids' underwear? It might seem like a niche topic, but it really does reflect much larger global trends and consumer shifts, doesn't it?
Yeah, the overarching trend is undeniably clear. The global kids' underwear market is on a definite path of significant expansion. No question. It's being driven by growing demand and these evolving expectations in both the developed economies like North America and Europe, and especially by the booming emerging economies across Asia Pacific, South America, the Middle East, and Africa. And we can clearly reemphasize that Asia Pacific, with India leading the charge in growth rate and China commanding massive market volume, is truly where the momentum is strongest right now. And globally, the market is projected to surpass that incredible $16.9 billion mark by 2033. That solidifies a really strong growth outlook. And again, it's not just about more kids. It's about a global push for better, more comfortable, and more specialized products for them.
It's fascinating. This deep dive into what might appear to be such a, mundane product category really does reveal a lot about global consumer behavior. And those economic shifts happening on a micro level, it's kind of a testament to how even the most basic necessities can tell a powerful economic story. A story about rising incomes, changing values, and that universal desire for quality and comfort for our children. It's almost like a lens through which we can observe broader societal advancements. Well, thank you for joining us on this surprisingly fascinating deep dive into the global kids' underwear market. Who knew there was so much to uncover in such an unexpected yet completely fundamental place?
Indeed. And maybe consider this as you go about your day. If such specific and foundational consumer categories like kids' underwear are experiencing these significant quantifiable global growth patterns, what other invisible or overlooked market segments out there might be telling us similar, equally powerful stories? Stories about the shifting economic landscape and consumer priorities around the world. It often takes looking just beneath the surface to find the most telling insights.
That's a truly thought-provoking question to ponder. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll be here next time for another deep dive.